Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here. This time reviewing on issue 16 of Beast Wars Transformers IDW Comic Review. Now, we're pretty much reaching to near the end of the final issue, and I would say it's been an honour reviewing the series one by one ever since the third lockdown in England. Now, I do admit Beast Wars was definitely a series that did deserve better, and there was some wasted potential there and there, but let's get on the story. And the cover mainly has Beast Wars, Optimus Primal, and Megatron duking it out, and the story picks up after the last issue. We see how Tarantulas goes against working with the Predacons, and even saying unless one switches sides like Dinobot, with Dinobot saying, "Surprisingly, I agree with him. This feels like an invitation to betrayal." And of course, we see how Optimus and Megatron point out about the Valk, and how they have seven days to sort of sort things out. And Megatron says, "Immense power. They almost killed me with a thought." By the pit, their readings. And of course, we see how Black Arachnia, also Waspinator, and Scourge are going to be working side by side with the Maximals, while Dinobot and Rhinox are going to work with the Predacons. And of course, we see them sending in, like I've said, to work with the Maximals. And we see how Optimus Primal sets a special device on Waspinator and the others in case anything went wrong, and giving them limited access to the Axelon, which they slowly make to the ship. And of course, we see basically them working together now to try and find any ideas and solutions. We see how Rhinox sees from the dark side cycle, from the sort of engine room, that he can send a special data package back to Cybertron to get word back home. And of course, we see how Black Arachnia and Cheetor are talking, and we see how Black Arachnia points out that they're the ones who started the war. They were kind of messing with the Vox experiments, so who are just kind of annoyed with them. I like how Cheetor thinks, "Crap, I never thought of it that way." And of course, we see how Scourge and Nyx are working together, and basically Scourge having a point that the Vox could be reading what they're saying, and saying, "I don't know. Computer, answer query. 3 to 4 cycles. Are there any unspace energy readings currently on the ship?" Affirmative. And of course, we see how they get the data package, and we see how Megatron says, "What is it, Scorponok? Have you found a way to weaponize what's left of the trans-warp drive?" And of course, they find out that they got a code that was from Tarantulas, and I'm saying, "Tarantulas, explain." "What? Why me? Isn't Dinobot the traitor here?" "Dinobot wouldn't use my code. You're the only one who might have, and I would know why." "Yes. Well, that is, you see." And we see how he tries to make a blast for it and gets away. And Megatron saying, "Tarantulas, I'm going to kill you." "Do you think that will save you?" And of course, it turns out that he's working with the Valk, and tries to make a break for it, saying, "Megatron thinking he could stop me? If only he learnt to me from the beginning." What? And of course, we see Dinobot taking down Tarantulas, and of course, plan to take him to the CR chamber and bring him for interrogation. And we see how Waspinator is working on the ship's trans-warp drive, and of course, gets a food reward. And we see how Nyx and Scourge point out about the Valk and that, and this is where we see Scourge as well as Nyx getting to know each other, and with Cheetor giving word from the dark side that there's been an attack. And we see Tarantulas being interrogated, with Megatron saying, well, look who's awake. Tell me everything you know about the Vogue before I kill you. Don't you mean, or I'll kill you? I do not. And of course, we see how Tarantulas has a backup plan, and turns out was using the remains of Pterosaur as his own personal Frankenstein monster. Tarantulas, but he's... And of course, mainly ends up getting blasted, and Tarantulas using Pterosaur's remains as his own Frankenstein monster, and of course, managed to get a break for it. And we see basically Scorponok seeing that Tarantulas now broken free, and Tarantulas basically using Pterosaur to plan to consume Energon from Scorponok, and which he plans to have him feed on. And of course, we see that Tarantulas now has the data he needs, and plans to also get a break away to get back his knowledge to the Predacon Council and that, and plans to give it to its destination, to Cybertron, saying, "Cybertron, I would find them on Cybertron! Don't!" And this is the story. So, I think my personal thoughts, issue 16 is trying to build up a final, and I think it's a shame that we wouldn't really get to see what other potential we could have had, like Protoform X, Transmetal, as well as seeing other characters like Bone Crusher, also Leo Prime, and so many others. It showed you that the team behind the series definitely knew what they were doing, and we've got one last issue to cover before the series is done and over with. So I think this issue still deserves a thumbs in the middle. It's an okay near series final, and definitely deserved a lot more respect. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.